guys, welcome back and thank you very much for watching. So today's video isn't a vlog as it usually would be. I took last week off vlogging, and so today I'm going to do a get ready with me / Q&A instead. I thought it would still be nice to have a really long video. You guys asked so many questions for this. I was absolutely amazed and overwhelmed, so thank you. So I've written down my favourites here, but there were so many really good ones, so I'm going to do a blog post as well which has some of the other ones in, because there were so many I wanted to answer, but this will be like an hour-long video if I went through them all. And I've also recently done a blog post about my makeup routine, so if there's anything that I kind of rush through a bit, I'll leave a link for that so you can go and have a read of that as well. Yeah, we'll get straight into this. Oh, actually, the first thing I better say is that I'm still in Madrid, which is what I've been in Madrid this weekend with Harry, and we're in some random hotel room because we couldn't get on our flight yesterday night because they had to switch the plane, and it was a smaller plane, so they couldn't fit us on the plane because we were one of the back rows. That's the booked seats that we had. So we're now flying out tonight. I was hoping to film this at home, but anyway, these things happen. So we're still in a strange hotel room in Madrid, and the tripod is a bin and a towel, so I'm hoping that everything will stay okay. But yes, let me get straight into it. I've just washed my face using the Earle Cleanse and Polish, which I use morning and night. I'm just going to use my serum now, which is the Vichy Idealia serum. Everything will be linked in the description box. It's like a brightening, radiance boosting one, and it's really, really nice. So I'm going to start with that. And the first question, because I get asked this so many times, is, oh my gosh, there's a topless man outside. That's not what I get asked all the time. Sorry, I was not expecting that. What brand and make is my watch? It's a Tag Heuer. I never really know how you pronounce that. I always want to go Tag Heuer, but it's a Tag Heuer Carrera automatic. This one with a black face. So I get asked that in like every single video. Okay. Next question is, first things first, I'm going to do my moisturiser, which is the Vichy Aqualia Thermal Light Moisturiser. It's really nice because it dries down a bit tacky, so it's kind of a really good primer for your makeup as well. I find that my foundation stays on really well when I've used this, so I'm just going to take a bit of that. The first question I've written down says, many of the testing basics are expensive and not necessarily satisfying enough. How do you convince yourself to go for the unaffordable pieces? So yeah, I spend a lot of money on testing basics. Most of the money I spend on clothes goes on that, and I always just see it as investing into a business basically, and that because my blog is my business and my YouTube is my business, that it's putting money back into it so that I can create the content that's the best possible content I can create, and the content that you guys want to see. So it is sometimes painful, like sometimes if I'm doing ones that have been really highly requested, like the trainers one that I just did, I would never want that many trainers because I don't love trainers, whereas ones like loafers, I'm like, oh, 5 pairs of loafers, I can get behind that. So it's painful when it's not a product which I desperately want 5 of, but it's absolutely worth it because I love creating them. So it's not that hard, and because it's part of my job, you just got to do what you got to do, don't you? And I enjoy it, and the feedback's always so worth it, so it's kind of alright. I got lots of uni-based questions. So I did History of Art at Leeds University, and I graduated 2 years ago in the summer, so I didn't do anything related to my degree. And one of the questions I was asked was, what other sorts of jobs did you look into when you finished uni? I'm about to graduate in Italian and History of Art, and suggestions are welcome. So there was a lot of questions about what I would be doing if I wasn't blogging as well, which I guess links in with this. I'm just about to do my foundation, which is the Nars Velvet Matte Skin Tint. I really, really like this. It's got SPF 30 as well. So I'm just taking a little bit on the back of my hand. And I always start with this in the middle of my face and blend it out because I have a really red nose all the time, but the rest of my skin isn't so bad or uneven. So I'm always starting in the middle. Yeah, when I was at uni, I realised I wanted to blog full-time when I was in my 3rd year. I started my blog in my 2nd year. So I always really wanted to do that, and from History of Art there was no direct career related to that degree that really stood out to me. I thought about maybe I'd enjoy curating or working in an art auction house, but a lot of them require going on to further education, so either studying a course at Sotheby's or Christie's, and I didn't want to do any more education, so that was the kind of main deterrent from that for me. And if I wasn't doing that, I honestly don't know what I would have ended up doing, because this job really ties in all of my interests. I think I would probably look for something in fashion, but because I didn't have a fashion related degree, whether or not I would have been successful in securing a place at some sort of a fashion related company, I'm not so sure. So I really don't know. Maybe PR? I just don't know what I would be doing. Okay, so that's all blended in. I'm now just going to do my concealer, which is the Maybelline Eye Eraser. God, this has got like 1,000 names. Maybelline Instant Anti-Age, the Eye Eraser Perfect and Cover Concealer. Flipping heck, it's this one with the spongy top anyway. What are some of your dreams and visions for the future regarding your career, and if you wish to share your personal life? So I hope to carry on blogging and doing YouTube, because I absolutely love it. As I said, it's all my interests rolled into one basically. So I hope to be able to carry on doing this. I'm also really interested in like the property market and property developing, so I would like to do something related to that at some point, but not just yet, but maybe later down the line, something to do with that. Definitely keep working for myself. That was one thing that I learned when I was at uni, that was something that I would be quite good at, because I'm very self-motivated and I enjoy time management, which is, you know, a bit sad. But definitely would always hope to work for myself in whatever I end up doing. And in terms of personal life, definitely to focus on my career for the next 5 years at least, really. Very career driven. But I would obviously like to get married and have children at some point, but just not in the near future. And if I could live in a beautiful home that's been like designed by Harry, who's studying to be an architect, with beautiful interiors, something like that would be a project I would love to do when I'm older too. Where do you get your styling inspiration? How do you pick your outfits each day? So this is like answered together, because I get my styling inspiration from other bloggers and from Pinterest. So I check on Pinterest and Instagram every single day. And if I'm not sure what to wear, then I go to my favourite pages. So my favourite ones to look at are Lucy Williams from Fashion Me Now, her Instagram, Debora Rosa, and she also curates a Tumblr called Fashion Gone Rouge, which is incredible. I'm just using the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder and Diffused Light. I've nearly run out to set my face. This is my favourite powder. So yeah, I go and look on theirs, I go on Pinterest and just scroll through until I see something that's really inspiring me. And one thing that I would generally say about building up, someone asked me a question about how you build up your own aesthetic, and I thought it was a good question, because when you look for inspiration, we all do it all the time. A good thing to think about is, what is it that inspired you about that photo? Was it the colours in it, the composition? Was it a pretty girl? Was it her hair? Was it her outfit? Was it the materials of the outfit? There's always something more specific that, for me, that makes me stop scrolling and look at something. So identifying what that was, then you can take that out of it. But if you think, what was that I like about that a bit more, that's a good way of deciding what it is you actually really like. So I'll leave a link for all my favourites in the description box as well, so you guys can go and have a look at them too, because it's so good to be armed with a few favourite Instagram accounts to check up on. Right, another one. This was a really very kind question as well, so thank you to the person who asked me this. I find you very positive about life in general and very inspired and motivated to try new things. I'm trying to be more positive and motivated myself, and would like to know if you have any tips to keep up the good mood. So firstly, I'm not always in a good mood. I'm sure Harry can confirm that. Sometimes I'm in a horrible mood. But I feel like I'm very lucky in that I love my job, which is a huge part of anybody's life, so that makes it easier to be happier generally. I think that like a lot of my friends who aren't necessarily the happiest is because they're not really fulfilled in their work, so I think that's a big part of why I am a happy person. But also my mum was always taught me to control your own happiness, and obviously you need to be surrounded by people who care about you and lift you up. That's a huge part of everything, but you don't rely on someone else to make you happy, always knowing that you can sustain your own happiness to an extent, maybe not 100% happy, but to a decent percentage of happiness, and strive to find ways to do that, and you know, create a life where you can facilitate whatever you need to do that, whether that be earn a certain amount of money to go and do things, whether that be connected to certain people, living in a certain place, you know, having certain people around you in your life that you find inspiring, whatever that might be, having a dog, like whatever it is that makes it easier for you to be happy, then do what you can to let that be a reality for you, and then you will generally find it easier to maintain a happy life and to not rely on other people all the time to make you happy, to, you know, you're in control of it basically, which is the only way to be, because you can't control what anybody else is going to do at the end of the day. So that's the advice that my mum always gives me, and I think it's pretty good advice as well. In terms of being motivated, love what you do is definitely a big part of it. I don't know, I guess small things like writing to-do lists help. I always set myself a lot to get done in a single day, and then just keeps you constantly on the go. But I feel like some people are naturally more motivated than others, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm naturally, like, I can't relax basically. I hate doing nothing, I hate sleeping in and things like that. So it's personal preference too. Right, I'm just going to do my eyebrows, and I would normally use my Revlon brow pencil, but it's run out, which is so annoying because it's really good. It's just called the brow pencil, so instead I'm just using a brown shade from my Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics because, yeah, the pencil's run out, but I would prefer to use pencil. So the next question, and there was a lot of questions around this, which I hope to clear up here. How did you become a blogger full-time? How do you create your own community of followers, and how do you begin making money from it? So part one of that, how do you become a blogger full-time, is make enough money from it basically. You have to know that you can sustain yourself for it to be a full-time job. That goes for anything that you're going to do. A big part of getting to that point is building up that community of followers, and you have to be really relentless with it and really persevere. Probably blogged for about probably nearly 2 years before I even was given a freebie. I did it for a long time without getting anything back apart from being passionate about it and enjoying the process of content creation. So you've got to be determined. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen, and a good way of doing that is, you know, constantly creating content basically. There's got to be something for people to read when they get to your blog or your YouTube or your Instagram or whatever. I blogged every single day for such a long time without really anybody reading it, but you've just got to have that content there. Interact with the community around you. It's a good way to get your name out there. Go to events when it gets to the point that you're invited to them, because again it really helps get your name out there. But the absolute cornerstone of everything is the content that you create, so prioritise that first and make sure that you're creating content that you're proud of, and then work on growing it from there by interacting with the community and just be flipping relentless with what you do. Just about to set my brows with the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper. I use this every day. And then in terms of making money from a blog, the first way I would think that the first bit of money that I ever made, and I wish I could remember exactly how many followers I had when I was offered this, I think over 10k probably on Instagram, was, oh god, it may have been like £100, and I couldn't believe it, and it was for a sponsored blog post, and that still remains the majority of my income. That's why my blog is the bigger part of what I do than my YouTube channel, because that's where I let most of the sponsored content that I work on sit, as opposed to on YouTube. I don't do very much sponsored content on here. So sponsored content's a big one, but that obviously you've got to have the following. Another one is affiliate links, which I think a lot of people do know about now. I keep forgetting to tell you what I'm doing. I'm just going to do my eye makeup, and I'm doing it with this palette again, and I'm taking the shade Blow on my fingertip and putting it all over the lid. So yeah, affiliate links are, you can either use reward style or shop style, and you sign up. I think shop style anyone can sign up, but reward style you've got to be accepted. That might be wrong though. And you run a link from ASOS, say. Not all websites run it, but ASOS is. So you run it through that program, and it creates an affiliate link, which basically means that when you click on that link, and then it drops a cookie there, and it will register the sale if you buy that product, and I will make commission from that sale. It doesn't cost you anything more. It doesn't change your shopping experience in any way whatsoever, but the blogger whose link you clicked on makes that commission. And even if you go back to it a week or so later, it will still register that journey, and it will still register that I was the beginning of that journey for the consumer, and so I will still make that commission. So that's a very big way of earning money, because if you have, you know, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people clicking on those links, then it adds up. So that's a big part of bloggers' income, and I know it's something that I think just need clarifying how it works, because I think there's a bit of confusion around it, but it doesn't change the shopping experience for you guys whatsoever. I've lost my flipping makeup brush. It just means that the blogger gets a small commission from it. So yeah, those are the two main sources of income for me for blogging anyway. You can definitely start using them from early on as well. Affiliate links are a really good way, but I just wanted to clarify that as well, because I think there is sometimes confusion about them. I mean, I click on bloggers affiliate links all the time where I can, so that people get the commission, because it's quite a good way to support the bloggers that you really love as well, for curating everything online in one space for you to shop. I'm just about to use the shade Extra Bitter on a big fluffy brush through my crease. It's like a really super warm brown shade. I love this palette, by the way, because everything's matte and very easy. So it's but what am I trying to say? The warm brown shade is really complementary to green eyes, and everything goes together in this palette, and I'm awful at eye makeup, so it's really good for people like me who are dreadful. Next question: what will be your next designer bag purchase, or what designer bags are you wanting at the moment? It's not very often that I see bags that I like. I'm much more of a shoe person. The only one that I really love at the moment is the Le Beve hammock bag. They have like a raffia and brown leather one, which is gorgeous, but I don't think I'll get it because it's a real summer bag and it's just not an all year round one, and I don't want to spend that much money on something that I don't feel like I can use all year round. So other than that, there's absolutely no bags I'm loving at the moment, none that I'm planning on purchasing. The next thing I'm going to do is just take the black shade, it's called Blackjack, on an angled brush. It's the same one I did my eyebrows with because of the eyebrow pencil issue, and do a bit of a wing liner. It's a bit softer than a gel liner, which I quite like. Oh, I got so many Buffy the Vampire Slayer questions, which made my day completely, because you guys know how much of a Buffy fan I am. I'll keep this bit short because if you're not a Buffy fan, it's not very interesting. But I am Team Spike over Team Angel. My favourite season is probably season 6, because that's when the Spike Buffy thing really starts to get going, and I really like the storyline of what happens with Buffy. But then season 5 with Glory is my favourite big bad. My favourite Buffy couple, somebody asked me that, is, I mean, I kind of Buffy and Spike. Giles and Miss Calendar I do really like. I really like the early storylines of Spike and Drusilla as well. So yeah, my favourite episode, somebody asked, Once More with Feeling obviously is one of my best ones. There's one called Restless, which I think is the finale of season 4, and it's amazing. It's like a dream sequence one, it's so well done. And I really like Tabula Rasa, which is the one that's after Once More with Feeling, when they all forget who they are, because I'm really into the Buffy sense of humour. It's a really specific kind of weird humour, and it makes me laugh, so that one always makes me laugh. What are your biggest insecurities? You seem so confident. Thank you. I would say that I am relatively confident. In terms of physical insecurities, I really hate my nose, my big nose, which I got from my dad, so thanks Dad for that one. I don't like my nose, but it's a nose, isn't it? It can be worse things wrong. I used to be really self-conscious of my ears, because they're like elf ears. Both of them are flat at the top. When I was at school, I was really self-conscious about it, and I used to tie my hair up and then pull my hair down over my ears so that they'd be hidden a bit. But now, I don't know if it's just come with age, I just could not care less about them. I never think that people are looking at them. And in terms of being confident in, like, I don't know, social situations and in work situations, I think a lot of that comes from having a good support network around you of people who do build you up and compliment you and also critique you whenever you need it. But the people around me definitely help my confidence massively, more than it comes from myself. It's from what the people around me say, and the feedback you get from the people who know are always going to be really honest with you as well. So having a good network like that is a good way to build that up. The mascara I'm using is the Lancome Hypnose Doll Eyes, you know, one of those ones. There's like God knows how many different types of them, but I really love it. Question, YouTube or blogging? Blogging, I know I'm on YouTube right now, but I love to blog. I love the process of taking and editing photos more than I do a video. And as I said, my blog is my main income, so I spend more time working on my blog than I do on my YouTube during the week, and I create more blog content than I do YouTube content. I post 5 posts a week, sometimes 4 if it's a very busy week, but yeah, definitely blogging for me. How did you and Harry meet, and how do you guys make your relationship work while living together and having super busy schedules? So we met at school, we've known each other since we were 11. We did go out for a very serious 3 weeks when we were about 14, but then we split up. because Connor Tracy told me that Harry was going to dump me, so I got in there first, and Connor Tracy knows that story, that it's all his fault. So then we got together again when we were 18, so we've been together for 6 years. In our last year of school, went to different unis, which I think was really important, and yeah, that's how we met. So we've been together for a long time. And in terms of spending time with each other, I think you've just got to try and make the time. It can be hard. We're both quite career driven, so for this stage in our lives, often our careers are our priority. But because we're on the same page with that, it works. And we try and have evenings in together whenever we can. We try and have weekends together whenever we can. And to do things like eat dinner together and go out sometimes and make an effort and get dressed up and not always have your horrible headband and your tracksuit bottoms on around each other. Stuff like that's a good thing to do. But yeah, it takes work. It takes work and effort, because when you've got a busy life, you've got to fit a lot into it, and it takes work to keep those priorities and keep all those plates spinning at the same time. So I'm just about to bronze up my face a little bit using the Benefit Huula one, and I always use a, I'm not doing a good job of showing you stuff, am I? As I said, it's linked in the description box. Shine on. And I'm just using, oh for God's sake, I've just got eyeshadow everywhere. I'm just using a big fluffy brush because I find it's a really foolproof way of doing it. You just can't get it wrong. So I'm just going to do that all over my face, a bit under the cheekbones, kind of. I don't think this class is contouring. Another question. What items are worth investing in and which are better bought on the high street? I would say shoes and bags to invest. In the long run, you'll buy less of them. Jackets to invest if you can. Not necessarily leather, maybe like leather jackets from the mid-range one, as Testing Basics showed us. Tailoring if you can, sometimes invest in that. If you're struggling with it, I think, then look high-end. But the high street, cotton t-shirts, cotton shirts, denim, absolutely 100%. The high street has the best selection of denim for such a good price. And I guess that's kind of everything, isn't it? Trend pieces, the high street every time. Things like dresses and skirts, I always buy in the high street because I'm never confident enough that I'm going to wear them forever and ever, basically. Now I'm just going to do a bit of blusher, and I'm just using one by Nars. It's called Dolce Vita. I wish I could stop dropping things. And it's like a dark kind of, it's just a blush colour, I don't know how to describe it. It looks like this. I'm just going to put a bit of that on my cheeks. Oh, we're nearly done. I'm pretty speedy at makeup because I don't wear that much, I don't think. What else have we got? How often do you purge? I imagine just for Testing Basics you've purchased around 15 jackets plus all the others you already owned and have purchased since. I love Testing Basics, but I still find the quantities alarming. Again, as I said earlier about Testing Basics as part of what I do for my job, so I also find the quantities alarming at times, but I can rationalise it and justify it quite easily. In terms of getting rid of things, with Testing Basics I try and hold on to stuff because then I'm doing longer reviews of them and saying in the long run they've worked like this or whatever. So I'm just going to put some lip balm on because my lips are really dry, just an 8-hour cream. So I try and keep them for as long as I can so that I can keep wearing them. But what I usually do with getting rid of stuff is, that just went everywhere, is put everything that I don't want in a room and invite my friends around. I did that before Christmas and I'll probably do another one in the next month or so. And then they take it, and like Katie, my friend who lives in London, will always text me like, wearing head to toe shot from the street today. So I always like to do it that way, so I'll be doing that again, but not too often because I have to keep the Testing Basics things. Right, I'm just going to do highlighter, which is my final step. I'm currently using the Nars Copacabana Illuminator. You don't need very much of this at all, it'll last a lifetime, tiny bit. I prefer cream highlight because I think it looks a little bit more natural than powdered ones too. So the final question that I will do in this one is, can you talk about your style evolution? What are some things you used to wear that you wouldn't be caught dead in now? So my style that started to really be what it is now when I was on my foundation year. I did an art foundation year before I went to uni in fine art, and learnt that I would absolutely loathe the fine art degree because I missed the academic side, which is why I then went into art history. But when I was doing the fine art degree, you definitely see a massive, you know, range of people because it's a very creative course, obviously. and it realised to me then that it was really important to how I felt and how productive I would feel if I was dressed smartly, and that I never really managed to rock up to college in scruffy clothes. It's when I really got into denim and tailoring. I used to wear a lot of skinny jeans, blazers, t-shirts and shirts and smart boots or pumps and stuff like that. I was really into like the Isabella around wedge trainers back then, as opposed to the flat ones. And yeah, that's when I started getting into tailoring with casual things and elevating your casual looks with simple pieces like that. And that carried on through uni. I always dressed really, really smart to uni, and probably the most casual and the most what's the word, Harry? Experimental that I have ever been now, because I don't really wear trends, but I'm probably more aware of what the trends are now than I ever was before, and have more money to spend basically, so you can take risks and you can treat yourself to different clothes, whereas I couldn't do that back then in the same way. So yeah, it kind of evolves as you earn more money with what you can buy. It evolves as you get older too. In terms of being seen and stuff, and wearing stuff that won't be seen in now, I used to, when I first started going out when I was like 17, I used to wear like leotards with my boobs out and really short skirts, really tight bodycon short skirts and platform heels, and I looked like a bit of a stripper, so I probably wouldn't ever wear that again now, but it was fun at the time, so I don't regret wearing that. I just wouldn't wear that outfit again now. So yeah, I hope that answers that. My style has been similar for a long time. It's just try a few more new things in terms of colours and silhouettes recently, and I spend more and more time online looking at other people's outfits too, so that inspires me and changes things. I'm just going to finish it with a lip pencil, which is very blunt. It's Nars Velvet Matte Lip Pencil and Intriguing. I do always like to put stuff like this on over lip balm because it doesn't go on as heavy, because I do like a natural nudie pink lip. This is one of my recent favourite ones. And voila, that's my makeup finished. Nice and simple. I think hopefully you agree it's nice and simple. Not very good. In terms of my hair, I don't know what my fringe will be like. I wash my fringe every morning, so if I've had it in a headband then I wash it and blow dry it again. But Harry, is it crazy or is it alright? He says it's probably a bit crazy. But my hair is, this is my natural hair, it's like this just from drying overnight. So I always usually go through phases of curling it or having it as it is, and I'm enjoying having it as it is. Put a bit of dry shampoo in it if it needs it, and as I said, wash my fringe. But we're just flying home today, so I'm not going to spend too much time fussing with my hair. Oh, it really needs a trim, dearie me. Anyway, this is the finished look. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave any questions or anything like that in the comments as always. Links for everything in the comments as always. And as I said, I've missed out so many questions here because you guys left so many. Thank you for the questions. They were thoughtful, they were interesting. I love reading through them and I've enjoyed doing this. So I'll do it more regularly, and also we'll go and write a blog post that hopefully answers some of the other ones. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.